All right, it's Saturday, February 10th. Just got down here to the farm. I got 4 people coming to buy corn off me today. I think they're taking a couple yards each. So I'm gonna pull the roof off the screen wagon here. I'm gonna take the corn out of that red one down there from last week, dump it into this. It's just easier to load out of this one here because I can put the skid steer bucket right underneath that door. The auger on that red one takes forever to unload, so it's just easier doing this. Plan was to finish off the rest of that field today, but there's some pretty heavy dew. I know it didn't rain out, so it's all dew. It's only 8:30 in the morning right now. Hopefully it's supposed to get into almost 60 today, which is great for February. So hopefully by a little before noon or so, that'll all burn off and I'll be able to get in the field and finish that field off. I do still have to fix the chain on the combine. I brought the tools to, I think I'm just going to take a couple links out of that chain for now, and then, because last day of harvest hopefully, so I'll fix that this summer when I go through the combine. So, but for right now, we're going to pull this corrugated roof off the top of the wagon so I can unload into it. So, see how that goes. Had to make a quick trip down to the gas station because the old Oliver wouldn't start. Check the fuel tank, there's nothing in it. I put like a couple gallons in the last time I ran it, but must have had it running longer than I thought I did because there's nothing in there. So throw some fuel in it, we'll be good to go. So put 5 gallons of gas in the Oliver and she didn't start. I think the fuel filter is gummed up on it. I wanted to park it down in the ditch right here along the side of the red wagon so it's easier for the auger to unload into it. Because when they're both on the same level there, the auger doesn't like it too much. But that's not going to work, obviously. So I'm going to pull the tarp off. I'll pull it up, park it right there, and we will start unloading grain. I want to grab my moisture tester and see what this dried down to. It's pretty damn dry. Shouldn't have done that. There was all the condensation on the tarp. I just threw it in the corn, so now that's all sticking to it, but whatever. So yeah, we'll see what it looks like. So we're all set up. Got the wagon in place, we're unloading into the bin. I gotta kind of control the flow of corn because the auger flighting on this thing's not real good. It used to haul fertilizer, so the flighting's a little rough. And it doesn't really like this steep angle. I've had it slug up in the past, so I gotta kind of control the flow of corn. When I'm unloading in, like, if I got someone that brings by a couple 55-gallon drums and this is a way less angle to load into like a pickup truck or something, it goes a lot faster, but I mean, it takes forever. Open that up a little more. It's not gonna all come flying out because I do have that corrugated pipe in it, the drainage tile. So that's gonna inhibit some of the flow coming out. But oh, I think about it now, I had a clogged up hydraulic filter on this tractor last time I ran, and that's why it took forever and it slugged up. So maybe with a good filter in there, it's got a little more hydraulic power. So maybe it'll be all right. So, but voice check this coming out of the bin. We were like high 17s when I pulled it out of the field last week. The fan's been on it for about a week. Showing 16.8. Blew over 17.1. So it is drying down. Really, you want to agitate the corn, which is why I moved it around into this other bin here and then put the fans back in it. So, but at like high 16s, low 17s, it'll keep. Like I said, I got a couple guys coming to buy some today, and it won't spoil on them. So everything's going smooth over there. I'd really love to change out this filter, and actually these hoses are leaking now. I looked at them before, they're pretty dry rotted, and I guess me messing with them finally was the straw that broke the camel's back, because now it's leaking. So I'd love to run down to the auto parts store and get all the stuff to fix this, but I gotta babysit the wagon over there. So I think what I'm gonna do is start pulling this apart, cut a couple chain links out of it, and we'll get it running for later this afternoon. The dew's starting to dry off, so we should have the green light to keep going. Hopefully finish that up today, but maybe I'll jump back on this after, get it running. This is actually, well, so this is my first tractor that I ever bought. It's 66 1650 gasser, so I'm pretty sentimental towards it. I'm never getting rid of it. But man, I wish it was a diesel. This thing is thirsty. I go through so much gas in this thing. I don't use it for much work anymore. I pull the gravity wagon with it and I rake hay, so it's nothing too crazy. But this is the first of 3 1650s that I've had. The second one I bought out of Aroostook County, Maine. Not running, but man, it was a pile. Had a loader on it, Oliver loader, and had a white canopy on it, Robson canopy. But that was a pile. I got rid of that pretty quick after I bought it. I think that went up to Vermont. Third 1650 was a diesel that I had with a Kelly. I think it was a Kelly 900 loader on it. That ran great. Pump was tuned up on it. Had plenty of power. That was my main hay tractor for few years. I ended up, I had low oil pressure. It was like running wide open. I had like 20 pounds. So I pulled the hydraulic, or the oil filter out of it rather, and it was brass in it, so the motor was on its way out, and I didn't have the money or the time to rebuild the motor, so I kicked it down the road. This guy bought it to feed his cows with. Stayed in Rhode Island for a while, and then that guy put it on Marketplace. I don't know where that ended up. It was on Marketplace maybe 2-3 months ago. So, but so yeah, hopefully end of the day we'll get this thing running. But for right now, we're gonna jump back on this. So I had mentioned you gotta babysit this thing, and one of the things you gotta keep an eye on is this tube hangs a little low. I should really cut it back higher. But as this fills up with grain, the pile will come up and it'll block the tube off, and then it'll end up binding up the auger, and I've broken the flighting doing that before. So every once in a while you gotta hop in here and just kind of kick it around the floor of the wagon, level it out, that way there you don't have that issue. I really should cut that back, that way there, one, it'll be easier to get it in here, and two, you never have to worry about it getting up that high. But it is nice having the longer tube when you're like unloading into 55-gallon drums and whatnot. But so just something to keep an eye on when you're doing it this way. All right, so master's knocked out. I'm only gonna take two lengths out of it. It really wasn't that bad, and 2 lengths looked good. So got the vise in the bumper of the truck, the lifesaver. So we'll cut that out and slap it back in. 2 lengths was perfect. I got it's nice and tight now, tighter than it was. I should probably adjust that a little more, but that's gonna get us where we gotta go. So I think that's still running over there, so I think I'm gonna pull the grease gun out, start going through all the grease there. Forgot to bring the tech manual for this thing, or the owner's manual, because there's a million grease fittings on this, and I can only get the ones I see, but there's a lot of them that you really can't see unless you look into the book to know they're there. So I'm gonna hit this up with grease so that we're good to go for later today. And then I'll find something else to do on this thing. Probably lube up the rest of the chains. I don't know how much chain lube I got, but we'll have to probably make a run down to John Deere and grab some. So we're getting down to the end here. Wagon's pretty much empty. Let's run the rest of this out. It feeds a lot easier when you take the tubing out, obviously. Fortunately, you can't do that till you get down to the end, but it's feeding real quick now, so plan is, it's a little later in the day. I had a couple guys come by and talk to them for a while, so we'll get this unloaded, throw that back together, the roof. Combine is all greased up, lubed up, so we'll pull a tarp off of that, head into the field, and hopefully get this wagon full up before it starts getting dark out. So that's the plan right now. Alright, that took longer than it should have to get all that augered in. I'm going to leave the red wagon up here at the farm, and then fill the combine up as much as I can. I'll just run it back here and dump it, so I'm not wasting time running back and forth between the farm and the field. Back at it. I was hoping that we were going to get through this field today, but it got a late start, so I might just come back tomorrow and finish it. I don't know, we'll see how it works out. But definitely some wind damage in this part of the field right here. Especially right in front of me there. But it's not, oh, this is terrible right here. This is all down. See if I can do this without clogging it. There got plugged up. When I was unloading that wagon, there was a lot of small rocks that went through it. So this thing ate a couple rocks. It was all slate, so it broke pretty easily. But I would imagine it probably picked it up on that corner right there when it kept clogging up last time. You can see right there, it just kind of digs in. But I'm kind of curious to know what this is all going to test at for moisture. Not that it matters, it's coming off anyway, and it was like 17% last weekend, so it's dry. We haven't had any rain since. But it's been unseasonably warm up here. It was almost 60 today. And the last probably 4 or 5 days it's been upper 40s. So I'm kind of curious to know if that rides us down any further, or if it's still right about 17%. Of course, I left my grain checker in the truck, so when we get done with this, I'll have to check it coming out of the combine. I'm told that usually when you check it in the field versus the combine, it's always going to be a little bit wetter in the combine for whatever reason. Not sure if there's any truth to that, but I've been told by a few people that was the case. So I don't know, but got a little bit in there already off the first pass. More than I thought I'd have for the amount of wind damage I got right here. I'm actually going to go up top here because I was shelling out up there when I broke down last weekend, so I'm going to try to find that row I broke down in and keep up from up there. So we've been at it for a little while, finally getting to a spot where there's no wind damage. This corner here is all good, standing still. Getting a little rough for a while there. Wasn't pulling much up off the ground. But this is all nice, you can still see the rows, so it's easy going. I don't have too much left, I'm pretty much just on this side of that bridge there. So maybe we'll get lucky and get to finish off. I got probably a half, if I was to level that off, I'd probably have a half hopper load. So I might have just enough room in this thing to finish the field off. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't. There's probably still be another 2 loads or maybe something, but because all the wind damage and I'm not picking everything up off the ground, it's kind of, I might luck out and get a whole hopper load off of this. But I don't know. Like I said, we're getting some good stuff down here, so I might take it up to the farm and dump it in the wagon and come back down. I don't know. We'll see. But this here. Focusing on hay. We got 20 acres from the town that my buddy and I are going to start plowing under. It's been wildflowers the last couple of years. Cornfield before that, but spring's around the corner, so we got to get in gear, start putting lime and fertilizer down. And it's going to need a lot of it, unfortunately. We're getting down there. This strip right here is all we got left in this field. I'm gonna hop out. The hopper is pretty full, so I'm gonna hop out and try to kick some of this in. I keep this bale ring on here just so that when I tarp it, it kind of sheds the water better, so it doesn't pool up. And then I've had that happen a couple times, so this thing works. And then it's not worth to pull it off. I just leave it on here in case anyone was wondering what this thing is for. But kick this all around. Yeah, that's all we got left there. It's gonna be tight. I don't know if we're gonna fit it all in here, so I might go dump it and come back once we get it really full. I don't know, we'll see how it plays out. but we shall see. My buddy showed up, so I told him to run it so I could listen to see if there's anything was making noise that it shouldn't be. And the header is making a noise on this side. I think it's the adjuster for the feed chain. So other than that, it seems to be running good. I don't want to walk back there and get hit by stalks, but we make it. I kicked around as much grain as I could up top. So hopefully we won't have to dump this and come back. But we're thinking like 2.5 more passes and they'll be done. Trying to keep it all in one shot because I really don't want to drive all the way back to the farm just to come back for 20 bucks worth of corn. Like that's all we got. Now it's spilling over. That's it right there. That's all we got. So I really don't want to go back for just that. We'll see. See if we can get it here. All we got right there. I don't think we're gonna make it. I just slammed the brakes on too. Probably went everywhere. last pass right here, the last 20 feet of 2023. Probably helped if I lowered the header. And we're done. And I'm probably going to lose all this on the road on the way down. We'll see you back at the farm. Alright, we're finished up. As you can see, I'm the kind of guy that will load up on groceries rather than make 2 trips. Probably going to lose a bunch of this on the road. That's okay, I don't really care. I'm done. Done with the field. I'm done with corn for this year. So let's go unload into that gravity wagon, get the combine cleaned up. It's definitely need some work. There's when TJ was running it, I noticed it was making a noise somewhere in the pickup ahead. So something's loose, banging around in there. So I'll have to mess around with that, but that's a project for later. So, but she ran good. I had the issue with the sieve this year, and we had a fuel issue. I had algae in the tank, so I kept jumping up fuel filters. So I'm glad we got all that taken care of. And yeah, I'm supposed to have those 4 guys show up, face the marketplace that never showed. So I got a guy that's coming next weekend for sure for 4 tons. And I had another customer that I've sold to a number of times. He's on his way down probably next weekend with one of those movable grain bins. Holds like 3 tons of corn. So he used to be wanting that filled up. So it'll all get moved. So I'm not too worried about that. Probably marketplace. You can bring it. Oh, you know, I'll be here at 9:30. All right, I'll see you then. And they never show up at 10:30. You get a hold of them to see if they're still coming. They read your message. They never say anything. Happens all the time. But that's how it goes. So, alright, we'll see you back at the farm. I think the float was stuck on the carburetor because I tapped it, came right back. Still have to replace the fuel filter and the hose, but I'm gonna bring it over there. I didn't film loading it up, but we got 2 full wagon loads. So we're running 1 fan in each wagon. And then we got the floor fan going on that one as well too. All right, end of the day. I didn't film too much when we got back to the farm. Just when TJ was here, we were just trying to get all this stuff put back together and cleaned up. So both wagons are over there, both plugged in. I got a dryer in each one. So that should all be good to go for next weekend. Like I said, I have 2 guys coming. I think they're taking 4 tons each. Did get the Oliver running, like I said in the last clip there. I think the float was just stuck. It still has the old filter in it. I got to replace the hoses and all that. That's probably a job for tomorrow, I guess. Get that thing up and going. Combine ran good. It was, I don't know what was going on, if the electric clutch was sticking or something, but I noticed something sounded like it was dragging when I was doing the last few passes there, and I went to go shut everything off to make sure to get out and check everything over, and I noticed that the electric clutch for the header was disengaged, but obviously I was shelling corn, so the header was still working. So I engaged it and everything seemed to speed up a little bit, so that clutch was sticking. I after I shut the PTO off and kicked it back on, the header never came back on until I wanted to, until I engaged it. So I don't know what that was all about, but that was the only issue there. I don't know what was going on with it. But combine's tarped, so like I said, probably come back next weekend, clean everything out, pull the panels off, and blow everything out better. Coming up this summer, all the old combines, if you didn't know it, they're pretty much all held together with duct tape in the bottom pans and all that. This is no different. So I think I'm going to cut the pans out, weld new ones in. I don't think I can get pans for it, so I'm probably just going to get some sheet metal and bend it over and get that all taken care of, because pretty much every time you got to run the combine, you got to put more pieces of duct tape under it. And that's a big part. This thing sat for like 4 years up in New York at that auction house. So without having the tank top tarped, just what fills up with water, and then it all sits down here and rusts everything out. It's just, unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast of a old combine sitting outside. But glad we're done with corn. It's big relief. So we'll get this thing ready for next year, and we'll get those tractors ready to go for hay season coming up. Me and TJ have 20 acres of hay that we're going to be, right now it's all wildflower. We're going to plow it all under, reseed it. We got to put lime in. A lot of lime, a lot of fertilizer to get it where it's got to be to have a successful crop of hay. We're doing Timothy orchard grass mix. Gonna do a mix of small squares and wrapped round bales. So that'll be something to look out for. And then, yeah, so thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.